Hi, I'm Sam. I'm an artist, graphic designer, and illustrator from Leicester, England. I like traveling, creating, cooking, going to the game, jumping in the water, and stuffing my face. In early 2023, I decided to put all my stuff into storage, sell my car, and go traveling, embracing life as a digital nomad, flying around the world and working remotely in other countries. So far, it's been a blast. I've been making memories, exploring different cultures, and embracing different ways of life. I've made a bunch of new friends, had a bunch of visitors from back home come out to stay with me, tried local cuisines, fell into tourist traps, and had way too much sunshine. Some of my favourite days since I've been away are the days where I've put the iPad in a bag, gone for a wander until I found somewhere to post up, enjoying the scenery and drawing something. So I want to bring you with me as I document my journey and try to adjust to life on the move, finding inspiration and living my dream of working and travelling, drawing and exploring. What's happening, people? Welcome to another episode of Drawing and Exploring with me, Sam Grubb. I've made my way to Belgrade, the capital of Serbia. So I travelled up on a coach yesterday from Sarajevo. It's absolutely freezing. Temperatures have dropped to 10 degrees, which is not ideal as I just packed shorts. But yeah, it's bolts. I don't know what's been going on. Last week in Sarajevo, it got cold as well. The sun disappeared a little bit. It's been absolutely chucking it down. And yeah, temperatures have definitely plummeted. But Belgrade's a cool city with a lot of history, so it dates back. There were people here as early as 6000 BC. Back then, the city was called Singidurum, and it remained Singidurum until 1841, when it was first referred to as Belgrade. It's a big city, 389 kilometers. There's 1.3 million people live here. And it feels like a real capital city. So there's a lot of cool architecture, there's a lot of like national offices, national museums and things like that. And it was the capital of Yugoslavia in 2006. I think up to 2006, it was called the capital of Yugoslavia, which is pretty cool. I'm glad to be here. My main reason for wanting to come is to go to a Red Star game. So I'm going to try and make my way to the stadium later. I'll be talking about what's been going on with that. But it looks like there's a lot to see here. So I'm excited to explore. I've had a cool summer. If you've been following, I started my Balkan journey in Albania and I've been working my way gradually north. So I went from Albania to Kosovo to Montenegro to Croatia just for one night, but I'm counting it. Then on to Bosnia, Mostar, Sarajevo, and finally on to Serbia. I thought being this close, I should pop over and check out the city as I've never been here before. So like I said, bunch of fun stuff to see. I'm excited to get out and explore the city a little bit. Right now, I'm on my way to Belgrade Fortress, which is a fortress that obviously sits up on top of a hill and overlooks the city. And it's just 7 minutes away from my Airbnb, so it seemed like a cool place for the first stop. So I'm going to make my way up there. Hopefully it's not a huge hike. But yeah, I'm going to get up there and then see what's going on. So I've been doing a bit of reading, and turns out that the city was only called Singi when this fortified fortress was built in the 3rd BC by the Celts. So that was when the city was first called Singi, and it's had a pretty fascinating history. So pretty much everyone who's occupied the area since has had a hand in building and adding to the fortress. So you're talking like the Romans, the Byzantines, the Ottoman Empire. There's parts of the structure that are still left from all of those guys. It sits in the Kalemegdan Park, which is the little park that I just walked through then on the way to it. And it looks pretty cool at a glance. Loads of it's kind of in ruin and overgrown. It's free to enter, so there's a lot of day trippers and dog walkers just kind of taking it in. I know there's a couple of towers that are pretty well preserved within. And the views are wicked. Like, when I arrived in the city at first, I got a coach, like I said, got to the bus station. And my Airbnb was about a 20-minute walk away, so I thought, yeah, I'll just walk. I only had my backpack with me. And it was massively uphill. Like, the whole way, it's up a steep gradient up this hill into kind of the centre. So thankfully, from where I was in the city, it wasn't a huge hike to get up here, and the views are pretty cool. Like, looking over the rivers, it overlooks the Danube and the Sada River, which merge together. So yeah, really cool for a first stop. Somewhere cool to tick off straight away. But I want to go see what else the city's got to offer. So I'm now approaching the Republic Square, which it's a pretty cool one. I like squares, man. I like the big buildings that face out into squares. So this one hosts the National Museum and the National Theatre that are behind me. Also a statue of Prince Michael. I guess that's him up there on the horse. But squares are cool. I nipped out last night to grab some food and take it back to the apartment. And it's interesting how whichever city you're in, Grebs will find some stairs in a square just to sit on. But yeah, this is the square, an old trading place. And the architecture in this city is just crazy. Like, I mean, so ornate, so much detail goes into the front. Look at that. Yeah, big square. So now I'm about a 7-minute walk from, I think it's pronounced Scaralija, which is a cobbled sort of old town that sits just outside the city centre. So I'm going to make my way down there, and then I'm going to talk about today's work and what we're drawing today. Okay, so we're now approaching Scaralija, which sits in the Stari Grad. If you remember, Stari Moss meant old bridge when I was in Mostar. Stari Grad, old town, simple as that. And it's round here where I'm going to find somewhere to get sat in work. So I don't think it's so much a neighbourhood so much as a street, but pretty nice, as it preserves some of the original qualities of how Belgrade used to be. So I'm excited to find a quaint little coffee shop. I think 'cause it's cold, I'm craving hot tea. It smells good, someone's cooking something nice. But yeah, today's work. So another commission today. I'm working on one for my friend Dem, who is the girlfriend of my mate Cam, who's a DJ. He's a drum and bass DJ. And every year for Dem's birthday, she throws a big birthday bash with a bunch of DJs. There's a culture in the DMB scene. If ever you see a DMB lineup, it's stacked. They'll book like 20 DJs onto the same night and have a bunch of people going back to back and stuff like that. So she's asked for a rave poster. And we'll talk about what we could do and what might be fun. And we come up with this idea of a almost like a yearbook kind of artwork with the squares, head and shoulder photos of each of the artists that's playing, and I'm going to depict them kind of as a caricature, kind of as a monster little character, work on a bit of a typographic layout, and that's going to be the Rave poster. So right now, try to find a little quaint coffee shop where I'm not going to be taking up too much space, get sat in and get to drawing. Okay, what's that? Uzitak coffee selection and delights. Sat myself outside again, just because the coffee shop was kind of small inside, and when I got in there it was just two staff sat there just having a chat. They had their phones out. I thought, yeah, I don't want to impose. But yeah, starting with the headshots here. So first up is my boy Cam. Just trying to get him here. This is a tough one, right? Because I feel like I'm not the best at portraiture. I think there's some people who just, even from when I was studying or like artists that I've met since, they just have a knack to like capture an essence of someone, and I just don't think it's my strong suit, especially when it's like character stuff like this. So I think if you guys remember, or if you watched an episode where I was in Tirana and I spent the episode exploring the park and found a little cafe near the artificial lake, one thing I just wanted to get back to during that episode was drawing some characters. And it was a nice grind, you know, just to do a composition with a few different characters in one setting. So here, I think I was thinking the same thing. I've got the photos of each of the artists, and like this one for Geordie, I think it comes up quite nice, trying to keep the simple shapes and emphasize certain aspects. So some of them I felt like I was really capturing the essence, and I guess as I was working through them, I'm trying to think what features can I pick out from each of them, even if it's mugging them off a bit and giving them like a massive nose or whatever. I'm just thinking they're monsters ultimately. It's fun. Like this guy, can I make his beard so thick and hairy and kind of make the lines on the fur a bit more jagged and rugged than some of the other ones? Same with the eyebrows, thinking just big slugs, keep it cartoonish, and just trying to work through. I feel like I need to sneeze. I don't know if you guys can hear it in my voice. I'm going to keep it rolling. Yeah, like this with the fringe, you know, just trying to put a bit of detail in. Little things like the headphones, just some accents. Sunglasses, I'm trying to think of the shape of the glasses and what will kind of suit their eyes. So if they've got round eyes, I'm trying to do round lenses. Or like here, I'm picking out the teeth. So I'm using a 12.9 inch iPad Pro. The software is Procreate. I'm using a second generation Apple Pencil. And it's just a stock brush I'm using. Freycinet is the brush that I like to use, but I experiment. I found some more. There was a marker brush that I was using the other week that was really fun. So I'm going to buy some more brushes for Christmas and have some, I think Christmas, end of the year, just something to play with whilst I'm sat around on the sofa eating mince pies and chilling. Yeah, working through these headshots, thinking about the horns and other little bits that I can keep in. Trying to keep the straight hairline here on this one, adding the shadows. I was into a nice flow. It was cool. I was listening to a podcast and just kind of like working through these one by one, and trying to think about what things to accentuate, like the earrings on this one. And I had a nice little process down for each of them. So I felt like, even though one thing I was kind of worried about initially was keeping them succinct, and obviously below this I've kept the I think it's the cam one that's on the canvas just for reference in terms of like line weight and stuff like that, and kind of how the shadows look. But yeah, getting through them one by one. I was enjoying drawing the girly ones. I feel like most of the monsters that I draw, I think of them just as like androgynous anyway. But most of them, I guess, are kind of blokish just because they're hairy and a little bit oafish and overweight. So it was fun drawing the girls and trying to think about like the different features and how to bring out like their lips or their eyes or how they've done their lashes and stuff like that. Ouija was a fun one. This guy's my boy. He just looks like a bit of a monster anyway, so I'm thinking it was kind of easy to capture his essence and pick out features on his face that I thought looked cool. I was trying to figure out here how to make the fur look like a bucket, but I thought ultimately I might just go with a bucket hat and keep the kind of big shadow in. That was the thing that I liked. But yeah, Dem throws this party every year. It's pretty cool. So obviously she's like I said, it's Cam's girlfriend. And she's got a bunch of friends in the scene, and she throws a birthday bash every year that's always fun. So it was really cool for her to ask me to do the artwork. When she said initially she kind of didn't have an idea, knew what she wanted. And I was like, what about this? I've been wanting to do some sort of yearbook. You know, what's that? There's an American TV show that's
was it the Brady Bunch? I think their intro is like similar thing. It's like they all appear in squares, kind of looking at each other. I can picture Usher doing that as well for some reason. I wonder if Usher did it in one of his music videos. I feel like I'm nearly there now. Can't be too many more after this. It was nice as well because the amount of artists you had, I think it was 16, fits perfectly into a grid layout. So I was like, yeah, that works well for our design. Like doing the hoodies and stuff like that, just something kind of big that takes over the whole composition, like that big puffer jacket earlier. Anything to try and make them look a little bit different or make each panel kind of stand out separately. Adding the shadows, I'm thinking if I get the shadows done and I get all the line work done, then I can lay them out one by one and just get to colouring them. And I guess with the colours, keep them succinct and try and make them look like they're from the same sort of world. Or like viewed through the same lens, I guess, you know, the same kind of drawing in each panel. Getting the glasses in, trying to go for those like Oakley style kind of visor glasses. Switch them up. It's tough these days. I tend to lean into the same sort of ones. If I draw just a monster without thinking, if I had like a minute, they're gonna look pretty similar. So it's those little things where in a group photo or group composition, I want to try and differentiate them a little bit if I can. Fun. Like by this point, I remember I was really enjoying it. Each one of the guys, like I know some of the guys on the lineup, but some of the guys I don't know. And yeah, it was really fun to like bring up these photos of people and just kind of like, right, I know how long one of these panels is going to take. I know how long I need to feel it out for. I know kind of how much influence I need to take from the photos for each one. How much I need to just have like artistic license to kind of go down the route and try and make them look like the other ones. So yeah, it was really fun. I was really enjoying it. And each one of them, each one of the photos when I brought them up, they had something, you know, whether it was like a hat or maybe they've got big sweeping hair off to the side or, you know, particularly like slim face with big cheekbones. It was cool picking it out. But yeah, you can see here, so I made my kind of layout with the text and it's got the names under each of the artists, and I just wanted to do like an illustrated piece in the middle. Dem has the cherry emoji in her Instagram name, so I thought that'd be cool just to pick those cherries out, I guess, because people would know that from her. And then for the text, I thought it'd be a shame to just leave it as the type. I thought it was a bit recessive, whereas I thought if I make this whole piece an illustration with some hand-rendered text, it'd be pretty cool. Then we can just pick that out on its own, make it stand out a little bit more. So yeah, just adding some colour, adding some shines to the cherries to make them look nice and juicy. Little drop shadows on the text, and it's almost time to think about colouring my individual squares. Little fade there. This is quite nice. So the brush I mentioned earlier, it's a what does it say? Freycinet. I really do need to Google and find out what that is. I imagine it's like some kind of pencil, but the pressure's so nice. If you're kind of leaning on it and you know, like using a lighter pressure, it really just does kind of look like a coloured pencil on screen. So it's nice for those little faded textures. Here, just trying to like go one by one and think, you know, make the girls maybe some cool bright colours and make some of the guys like some darker sort of earth tones that they might wear. And I'm thinking to pick out colours from the pictures as well. Going through, like I say there, with a pencil, just adding the little shade. It's really easy to manipulate. Double checking there what colour the coat was. Just working through. I remember at this point, one thing I wasn't dead set on was the alternating colour backgrounds for the square. So I think I'm going to go back and change that, or just add like a little bit more colour in there and kind of take away from the blockiness of it. But yeah, just working through, thinking as well about contrasting fur, you know. So say the fur of the different characters, I don't necessarily want that to be the same as what's in the background. So having to change some of those out along the way, getting real close just to fill in the little white bits and the highlights on the earrings and stuff. And you can see sort of how it's shaping up. Here as well also, I'm thinking like blue, ultimately I don't think is going to be the background colour. but I like to just put like, I usually go for like a really over the top red, but then I'm aware that I guess that kind of skews how you see the colours on screen unless you're really zoomed in, you know, because you next to a blue they're going to look a certain way. But this is handy for picking out the little areas, so you can drop in most of the big patches, especially with a line drawing like this. Whereas for the small areas like the little teeth or maybe like individual links on a chain or earrings or something like that, I want like some high contrast in the background just to go through and make sure that I'm catching all those little areas. Here I'm just adding the fur texture, adding some drips in the background, and there's the final thing. Then went with this colourful background, gave her a couple of options, but this was the one she liked the most, which was kind of the one I liked the most as well, the most colourful, with all the guys in grid formation. Big them up. Them's Bday Bash.
All right, so drawing finished. We're back out into the city, and I want to go get some food, but I'm not feeling something authentic. I'm thinking all summer when I've been in these places, I've been eating some authentic stuff and blah, 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 some, you know, like local cuisines. And Belgrade's a huge city. It's a capital city. They've got everything here. So I think one of the things I definitely took for granted before I started coming away was the selection of food we have in the UK, I guess just because it's so multicultural. So when in a big city like this, I like to take advantage of it. It was the same when I was in Mexico City. Sometimes I'd head up to Mexico City for a weekend or something, and they've got such a great selection, it'd be a shame not to have something else. And I think just because of how cold it's been, I fancy a little winter warmer. When I was looking for a tea shop earlier, I found a Chinese tea shop. So I started to think, yeah, maybe something Asian for dinner. And I had a look, and just around the corner from my Airbnb, there's a Vietnamese restaurant. So I think I'm going to get in there, try get a little curry, maybe some sticky white rice. I'm going to see what they've got on offer. But yeah, let's go see what the food options are like in Belgrade. Here's our spot, Curry Souls.
All right, curry souls. Turns out it was Sri Lankan, not Vietnamese. I'm not sure how I got muddled up there, but it was good regardless. The menu was a simple menu, maybe about 10 dishes on it or something like that. They had a couple of left field ones, like a pasta dish, but for the most part, it looked pretty good. I ended up going with this sort of curry bowl thing that was with some white rice, and it was sticky, it was jammy. I can't remember what it was. Was it chicken? I guess it will say at the end. But yeah, it was pretty nice how it came out. Real winter warmer, which I was in the mood for. Went for the peach iced tea, little in-house number. The rice was perfect. And I love those curries that have a tomato in them. You know, when you get like a jammy, kind of mid-spicy tomatoey curry, I think it's really good. And I can't think if I've ever had Sri Lankan food before, so maybe that was a first time for that. Deviled chicken stir fry, they were calling it. But yeah, it was great. £12.60, not to be sniffed at.
Oh, that was really nice, really fresh, good service, came out quick, can't complain. Nice stuff. So the sun's gone down, it's turned into night now, it's freezing and it's raining a little bit, and it's time for the nighttime mission and kind of the reason why I came here in the first place. So like I said at the start, I was in the area obviously, and I thought, let me try get over to Serbia just to tick it off. And especially in Belgrade, the main thing I wanted to do was get to a Red Star game. So Red Star are a huge team with huge history, huge European history, notoriously a tough team for English sides to come up against. They play their football in the Red Star Stadium, or it's sometimes referred to as the Maracanã, which is a nod to, where's the Maracanã? South America, Brazil, I think. But yeah, 53,000 seater stadium. Record attendance was in the 70s, which was way over 100,000. So they must have just been cramming people in back then. The stadium was built in the 60s, but this is a serious bucket list stadium, right? I've been lucky this year. I managed to go see Club Americas in their bucket list stadium, and now I'm going to go to the Red Star Stadium. So I had a bit of a odd one, right? I bought a ticket through a third-party site, and it was like £30 roughly. And then they said, yeah, we're going to send you the ticket nearer the time. And then I waited for the ticket to come, I got an email from them saying, it's going to, what did they say? They said they might send it you on the match day if the match is busy or whatever. And then last night I checked my emails and I had an email from them saying it's actually a free match. You don't need a ticket, but make sure you get there early enough to ensure you get in. And they refunded the ticket price. So my plan is to get there about half an hour before the game. Now, these free tickets were an odd one because when I was in Podgorica, their tickets were free as well. And I'm not sure why, to be honest, especially Red Star, a huge team with a huge following. They could definitely charge on the door or on the gate, but maybe they're not. But then I read online that you can buy tickets from a box office down there. So I'm thinking if I get down there with enough time, whether I have to buy a ticket on the spot or if I just end up walking in for free, either way, hopefully I should be able to get into the stadium. So I'm on my way to a bus stop, which is about a 15-minute walk away, and then the bus drops you off right outside the stadium. So I'm going to make my way down there. Pray for me that I get in. If not, I'm just out in the cold for no reason. God, the weather is truly naff. It started chucking it down and all the seats underneath the bit where you was fully undercover were taken up. But that was awesome. 2-0, they got it done. There was a red card, there was a penalty. It wasn't packed out, but the ultras were going crazy. Really cool to see. And definitely, like I said, a bucket list stadium. Glad that I've ticked it off. Super cool to get to go. Had a mare getting there. Imagine I got to the bus stop, waited for the bus came, and then I realised I'm on it going in the wrong direction. So I had about half an hour till kickoff, and I was like, damn, jumped off the bus, saw a taxi driver, flagged him down, asked to go to the stadium. He says, no, don't go to the stadium. I was like, okay. Took it on my toes, jogging across. When I was on the bus and it went the wrong way, we went right over this bridge, over the river, ended up miles away from where I was. So I was like, right, I'm just going to jog back because I know at the bus station there's taxi drivers. Got all the way back. One more taxi driver said, no, I'm not taking the job because I don't care. I don't go to the stadium. I said, oh, why? He said, he didn't give me a reason. Maybe it's too far out, or you think you'll get stuck in traffic and it's not worth the job or something like that. And then this other guy was like, yeah, come jump in. Said he was going to put it on the meter. It was about 700 Russian dollars, which is like not a lot, £5-6, something like that. And I got there just a couple of minutes before kickoff. I didn't need a ticket. They were just waving people through. As you've seen, the stadium's pretty empty, so I think it's probably just an incentive to get fans in. Managed to just walk in, got a little search, and just went straight in without a ticket. Got in there just before kickoff, so it all worked out in the end. Managed to tick it off. I got to see Red Star whilst in Belgrade. Pretty cool end to the day. So I'm going to head back now. I might grab a little something to eat. I've got some cash that I need to use up because it's going to be useless when I get back to Bosnia. But yeah, little 40 meters to the bus stop, and this is end of line, so it's definitely going to be going back into the center. Then I can find my way back from there. But listen, guys, thanks for watching. That's another episode of Drawing and Exploring in the Bank, another country in the bank, which I'm pretty buzzing about. If you want to tap in and you want to see more of the journey, the best place to follow is the Instagram. So head to instagram.com/SamGrubArt, or @SamGrubArt as the kids would say. There you'll see like a bunch of project work, all the kind of final art from the episodes I post up there. Shout out the clients and stuff. Also the TikTok is @SamGrubArt. So find me on TikTok, a bunch of shorts. I'm trying to draw some little 1-minute monsters just to keep my hand fresh and have some fun over there. So check that out. You can go to my portfolio website, which is samgrub.co.uk, if you want to see some bigger projects that I've delivered for some clients with a bit more work and a bit more body to them. Also from there, you can navigate to my shop if you want to buy t-shirts or prints or stickers or posters or postcards or anything like that. Go to shop.samgrub.co.uk. But like I say on all these episodes, the main reason I'm doing this is, I wanted to have a content drive. I wanted to have a reason to be drawing every week and making sure that I'm picking up the pen and practicing and just kind of staying on it. And I want to expand my client base. I want to get to a point where I've got clients all around the world. And there's a bunch of fun jobs coming in that I can do whilst I'm still on the move. So if that sounds like you, if there's something you want, if you've got a football team and you want a football kit designing and you've seen the art style and you think, I'm going to get this guy to do it, it's going to look cool, get in touch. You can reach out, contact drawingandexploring@gmail.com. That's the email address. Shoot me an email, we can figure it out and hopefully feature your project in a future Drawing and Exploring episode. So like I said, email address is contact drawingandexploring@gmail.com. But thanks for watching, guys. If you tuned in, if you're my people and you're one of the ones who you're watching along, I appreciate it. Thanks for the view. And if you're not, if you just found this video randomly, that's super cool. Thanks for watching to this point. Try and watch another episode, see if you enjoy it. But yeah, right now, like I said, I'm going to go get the bus. It's the number 78. Traffic looks insane, so I expect I'm going to be on it for a minute. I think it's going to be super packed out. But that's Belgrade ticked off. And then I head back to Bosnia tomorrow. So thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.